So today in class we learned how to solve for y and use that equation to graph the line. So in each of the 5 problems we have, we're going to graph the following equations by determining the slope and y-intercept first. Now in order for us to figure out the slope and the y-intercept, we're going to have to solve for y. So let's look at number 1. We have 3x plus 4y equals 24. In order for us to find the slope, which is the m, and find the y-intercept, which is the b, remember our standard equation, y equals mx plus b, we need to solve for y. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Go ahead and do the first step. Okay, first step should have been to subtract 3x on both sides. So each side you're going to subtract 3x. When I subtract 3x from 3x, I cancel, leaving me with 4y equals negative 3x plus 24. Now if you want, you can rewrite that as 24 minus 3x. They mean the same thing. Now I'll give you a couple seconds. Go ahead and do the next step. Okay, so you should have divided by 4 all the way across so that you could get y by itself. The 4's will cancel, leaving you with y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 6 as our final equation. If that's our final equation, then the first blank up there says the slope. The slope is our m, which is the number that is in front of the x. So our slope is negative 3 divided by 4. And our y-intercept is the b, which is the number that does not have the letter after it. So our y-intercept is 6. Okay? So we found the slope and the y-intercept. Now we're going to begin to graph it. Now, what I told you in class was you begin with b, which is your y-intercept, and then you move with m. Remember, begin with b, move with m. So we're going to begin at 6, and we're going to begin at 6 on the y-axis. That's the first point you're going to plot, so go ahead and plot that point. Now, from there, we're going to move down 3 and to the right 4. What determines down and to the right? The 3 is negative, so that means that you're going to move down, and the 4 is positive, which means you're going to move to the right 4. So we're going to go down 3 units from the 6 that we just plotted, and we're going to go to the right 4 units, and we're going to keep doing that same pattern until we're pretty much off the screen. And we've got our dots. We'll go ahead and connect. Okay? So that's a quick refresher. Number 2, 3, 4 are going to be done exactly the same way. We need to solve for y first, find our slope and y-intercept, and then graph it. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to go ahead and do number 2. Go ahead and solve for y. So, to solve for y here, we're going to add 2x. You should have added 2x as your first step, leaving you with 6y equals 2x plus 18. And then the next step you should be thinking now is to divide by 6. So when you divide by 6, you end up getting y equals 1/3, that's 2/6 reduced, plus 3. So my slope is 1/3 and my y-intercept is 3. Check to make sure that you understand that. Okay, now that we have the slope and the y-intercept, we're going to begin with b and move with m. Remember, this is the b, this is the m. So we're going to begin at 3 on the y-axis because it's a y-intercept. And from there, we're going to move up 1 and to the right 3. Up 1 and to the right 3. We're going up because 1 is positive. We're going to the right because 3 is positive. Down 1 and to the left 3 would also be in that same line. Connect the dots and we have our line. Go ahead and do number 3. Start number 3. Okay, you may have started by subtracting the x, which is good, but this one looks a little bit different when you subtract the x. You have negative 1 over 4y equals negative x plus 1. So because it's negative 1/4, we would need to get rid of that 4 by doing the opposite. Since that's being divided, to get rid of it, we do the opposite, which is to multiply 4 on both sides. So we're going to multiply this whole equation here by 4. Notice I put it in parentheses because I want everything to be multiplied by 4. And actually I'm going to multiply it by a negative 4 because that gets rid of the 2 negatives that we have so that we can make a positive y. So those are going to cancel and we're going to be left with just y. Now on this side we have to multiply these by negative 4. So negative 4 is going to be multiplied by the negative x, and then negative 4 is going to be multiplied by the positive 1. So we're going to end up having negative 4 times negative x, which is positive 4x, and negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4. So this becomes our equation. Go back and think about that one again. This was divided by 4. And it was negative, so we went ahead and multiplied by a negative 4 so that those would cancel out and it would leave you with just y. Now that we have that, we know that 4 is our slope and negative 4 is our y-intercept. So go ahead and plot those two, and I'll give you a couple seconds so that you can check your work. Okay, so you should have began at negative 4 on the y-axis, so that's down 4 from the origin. And then from there, if our slope is 4, that means up 4 and to the right 1, because 4 is like saying 4 divided by 1. So we're moving up 4 to the right 1, do that again, up 4 to the right 1. You've got 3 points there, go ahead and connect your dots. All right, number 4, you're going to need to solve again for y. First step, I'll give you a couple of minutes to try on your own. First step should have been to subtract negative 5x. So you have negative 10y equals negative 5x plus 20. Divide by negative 10. And remember, everything gets divided by negative 10. Not just the left side, not just the negative 5, but everything. So that's going to cancel. Negative 5 divided by negative 10 can reduce to 1/2. 5 is half of 10, so it's 1/2. And a negative over negative is a positive, so 1/2 x. And then 20 divided by negative 10 is minus 2. So this is our y equals, which means that our slope is 1/2, and our y-intercept is negative 2. Kind of wrote that on the wrong lines, sorry. So we're going to begin at negative 2, walk up 1, and to the right 2. Those are both positive, so that's up and right. Okay, those are what tell us what direction. Up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2. You can either go down 1 and to the left 2. If you have enough points, go ahead and connect your dots. All right, number 5 was a challenge problem. Hopefully you tried it. You're given 3 different equations, and you have to graph all of them on the same graph and see where the point of intersection is. Okay, point of intersection is where they all cross. Notice that all three of the lines are not in y-intercept form, slope-intercept form. So we're going to have to change every single one of those. So up here, I'm going to go ahead and use the space on my paper. I'm going to start out with x plus 4y equals 16. We're going to subtract x. So 4y equals negative x plus 16. And then divide by 4. I'm going a little bit faster now, so those of you who have already done this can go ahead and check your work. That's line number 1. Do a different color for line number 2. X plus y equals 10. If I subtract x, I have y equals negative x plus 10. That's line 2. And then let's use pink. X minus 2y equals 4. Subtract x. We have negative 2y equals negative x plus 4. Divide by negative 2. So y is equal to a positive 1/2. Notice that that's negative over negative. Okay, negative over negative, which becomes 1/2 positive. And 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and graph all of these individually. So this one was red, this one was blue, and this one was pink. We'll start with the pink since I'm on that. It was 1/2 x minus 2, so I'm going to begin at negative 2. I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 2. I'm going to keep going because I never know where my point of intersection is going to be, so I'm going to do as many as I can fit on a graph just in case. So here's one line. Now I'll do the blue line. The blue line was negative x plus 10, so we begin at positive 10 all the way at the top and go down 1 and to the right 1. Okay, negative 1 means negative 1 divided by positive 1. So down 1 and to the right 1. I'm seeing a point of intersection there. But let's see where our third line is going to be. And our third line was negative 1/4 x plus 4. So we're going to begin at 4, go down 1 and to the right 4. Down 1 to the right 4, and it ends up being this point right in the middle. So this point right here is our point of intersection. If I were to figure out that point, I'm going to figure out the x and then the y, so that's 6, 7, 8, comma, 1, 2, 8, 2. So my point of intersection is at 8, 2. Okay, be ready for your quiz tomorrow.